I think the entire team just came, like, were team Akamai at that point, right? So we never felt that, this is a yours truly theater team, this is Akamai team, because we were trying to really work towards that, work towards the problem together. So
you know, Nandini was involved from day one, where she really took notes of what our needs are, right? Based on that, what the employees feel like, what does this team look like? Based on all of that is how she conceptualized the entire program, and I think that really helps from a client per se, because it is important to know what the dynamics of the team is, what are some of the things that is emerging, how do they feel, and how do we really come up with something like this. I think that was truly commendable, in terms of how we spanned out the entire program. And thanks to Nandini and your facilitator and the entire actors, because it was really impactful workshop.
uh, and I also liked the way Nandini and the entire team was so intuitive. Right? So really being intuitive to what the pulse of the audience is, and then working around it. Uh, I think Nandini was a part of the process with me right from the very first conversation I had with her. So I think she pretty much, she was always looking at how can we make it more impactful, how can we make it more effective, and I think she's done a phenomenal job. And I'm so happy that we could actually have the others also joining in, because that gave us more perspectives and more eyes on each individuals. I think that was really well done. So in Akamai, right, and since I'm a part of the L&D team, we do a lot of theater workshops, and I have really seen theater working, especially in the face-to-face. We use theater as a part of our women leadership program with Stand Tall. We've used theater to really make that behavior change. We did a similar OD intervention last year, Reshma, for crops, where it was about change management, and there also we took some aspects of theater. So and I have seen theater work because it puts the person in a specific role, and he or she gets to experience it. So and the learning is very personalized, and that's what I find really exciting about theater, because it helps you think from that person's perspective. This engagement, Reshma is the HRBP for the group. So when we were initially talking about, what this group requires, after the initial survey that we had rolled out, we realized that this team needs to really come together and share their high points in their career. And I really thought that theater, maybe some aspects of theater methodology could actually bring those to life. And that's why, Charu also suggested, and she's worked with Nandini in the past, yours truly theater in the past, and she had only good things to say about Nandini. And I really liked the concept of story circle, where you're just sharing stories with each other, stories of success, stories of being energized, and that's where I thought it was a perfect fit for the kind of intervention we are looking for and the need that we had.
Yeah, I would I would like to add to that. We had this team, engineering team, where there were a couple of things that emerged as pain points, right, for managers and the employees. So what we did is we were thinking what we could do. Again, I partnered with Shaumita to see, what are some of the things that we could do. And when she said, like we could do this, and she brought up this aspect of, your truly theater, right? And I had attended one of the workshops where I found it very, very engaging, and there were lots to take back from that, because it is definitely, when we talk about trainings or workshops, people tend to think that, oh, we have a lot of presentations, or philosophical talks. And how do we really keep ourselves busy for that long? Like if you are scheduling a training or a workshop for, 1 hour, 2 hours, it's like a long time to just sit in a, sit somewhere, listen and things like that. And also with the current pandemic, we were just wondering, how do we really go about this? So when Shamita told that can we include theater for this intervention, the first thought that came to me was, in a virtual environment like this, how do we really go about theater, and how do we keep everyone engaged? So then, she connected with Nandini, and both of them, Nandini and Chamita, they discussed how we are going to really plan this out. Uh, I really found it interesting because it's not just listening to someone, or just it's not like a unilateral flow of communication, right? This was totally driven by the participants, and not that somebody's saying something and you're listening to it and you're not engaging yourself with that. So I really found that was very impactful, right? In terms of how the concept was coming up, and how do we really keep everyone engaged. So I found that theater really has a very, very great impact on anyone who would like to have these kinds of interventions. I actually, at the first thought of theater, I was like, how do we really do it in a virtual session? And we had so many participants. How do we really do it? But I think when we actually started the program, the breakout rooms where you get to really engage with each other in smaller groups, right? And you open up, you discuss. And then when you have, you have somebody from your truly theater present there as well, so that there is a third eye view of what is really happening. And also we heard from employees, right, saying that we initially thought this is going to be like any other training. In this current scenario, we have a lot of trainings that's happening. It's all virtual. I can sit and do my work rather than, be part of this engagement. But I think, end of the session, what we really heard was overwhelming.
Well, for the participants, I think they were pretty thrilled because and I could see that, of course, the batches, everyone reacted to it differently. Like some batches, they were like overly enthusiastic. Some took a little bit of time and needed that nudge. But I think all of them pretty much warmed up to the concept of utilizing a very different methodology to get the learning across. Right? And also the managers, and I think in the managers workshop we use theater the most because we really had those acts together where they role played those scenarios, and I could see the managers really seeing themselves in those characters and thinking out loud, having those discussions. So I think it played out beautifully. And
for them, it was a totally different experience. And I think this was shared by most participants because they were actively involved. And they said that they truly enjoyed the activities, the breakout rooms, the smaller sessions. I think most of the activities on set, it looked very, very simple, but yet it was very, very powerful, is what I would say. Because I think the most impactful thing is that you take back the learning because you are engaged from the beginning till the end, right? You're not listening. You're not listening to someone tell you to do something. They're just giving you the instructions, and you are driving the entire, theater-based workshop. So I think from that aspect, I really, my initial apprehensions of how is it going to pan out, how is it going to work, was really taken away by the great feedback that the participants had. So one thing is, I think the thought process itself, right? Because the entire team, before they came into this workshop, or the concept of the theater-based workshop, they thought it is just going to be something that they will listen and maybe not really apply it like the way they used to earlier, right? But in this, I think there were a lot of concepts that they felt they could apply onto their day-to-day lives, rather than only with regard to the work that they do, right? Like leading and following, that is another thing. And also, how do you really define your team in terms of, is it a mountain or is it an ocean? So those concepts were very powerful, because I think as a team, what I see is, as a team they have become more collaborative, and they really share their perspectives with the larger audience in terms of to get or arrive at something that is concrete. So there is lot of give and take in terms of leading, following, and also the collaborative effort of the team to get something done, and also looking at the bigger picture of what is there in store. I think there have been a lot of energy and enthusiasm with the team, and what I hear from managers also, like this has been a very impactful workshop for them, because totally it was driven by them, and also I think there is a lot of takeaways from the entire session, how it was planned for them.
The end of the workshop, many of the folks actually mentioned that they've not really met each other for such a long time. They've not seen each other. So I think this gave a perfect platform for them to really come together, share those moments of successes. Also, like Reshma mentioned, right, your mountain or the sea, think metaphorically. So we all really, do you see your team as a mountain, or do you see your team as a sea? So these questions, I think, really triggered those thoughts, and we got some fantastic answers from all of them, right? And like tea or coffee, the stories that they shared, I think it was so personalized. The stories behind their names, and everyone got to know each other personally. I think that was fantastic, because that was the intent. It was about collaborating, it was about knowing each other, just not as professional colleagues, but beyond as well. And I think that was very well achieved through this workshop.
Yours truly theater has done a fantastic job of bringing in the whole concept of how you can really bring out a lot of participation and engagement within the groups that they work with. And also, I think the actors that they bring in for different scenarios, that actually makes you relate to those subjects, or makes you remember those scenes that was played during the whole session, and just like a lasting impact that they have. And I think it's been really fantastic working with you all. The concepts are, as I said, it is very it seems simple, but very powerful in actually getting out that message to the participants.